Off we go. It's the Ryan Hartson Show on the BWC Network. I am Ryan Hartson. What a pleasure it is to be here today, breaking down all of yesterday's action in less than 15 minutes with you. But we will start with some breaking news. The Houston Texans quarterback Matt Schaub has what can be described as a significant foot injury and will be replaced by Matt Leinart after the Texans' bye week. So Matt Leinart out in 2 weeks. Who knows how long he will be out for after that. Leinart is a terrible quarterback. Matt Schaub has been brilliant. So the Texans are in trouble. And I was ready to come on today and talk about how the Texans, in my opinion, are the favorites to get out of the AFC. I think that quarterback is going to get hot. Andre Johnson comes back, he can be a beast, and the Texans have all the fixins of a Super Bowl contender. But with this Schaub injury, that spells trouble for the Houston Texans and their season. All of a sudden, on one Monday afternoon, hangs in the balance. But let's get to breaking down your NFL in less than 15 minutes. We start with New Orleans and Atlanta. They play an overtime game where Mike Smith goes for fourth down on his own 30-yard line, does not get it. The Saints just blow the play up. Listen, it was a stupid decision. I like going for it on fourth down. If I was a coach, I would go for it on fourth down all the time. That's why I'm not a coach. But I feel like this was the wrong time to do it. You're in overtime. You got plenty of time. Your defense just stopped Drew Brees. This was the wrong time to go for it on fourth down. I'm not going to kill him for the decision. I think going for it on fourth down sometimes is the right thing to do. I think Bill Belichick going for it on fourth down a couple years ago was the right decision to do then because he didn't want to give Peyton Manning back the ball. You get the first down, you move on, you win the game. And Peyton Manning had to score a touchdown to get ahead of them, which he was able to do, and that was an epic game. But this was completely different. You have an opportunity just to punt it, you can get the ball back and then try again, get your offense out there again. I mean, you got a whole overtime period. You're not nothing really hangs in the balance. I mean, you guys are at a tie, but now, I mean, you just give the ball to the Saints because the Saints all of a sudden are instantly in field goal range and they kick the easy field goal, win the game. Bad decision by Mike Smith. Bottom line, the Falcons are good. They're not great. Matt Ryan threw the ball 50 times. Michael Turner did a nice job. The Falcons at the end of the day are just a nice team. I'm not overly impressed by anything they do. But, they're a nice little football team. I don't think they're going to go very far because I don't think Matt Ryan has it. The Saints are the second or third best team in the NFC. They're not going to get a higher seed because they don't play an easy schedule like San Francisco does. So you have that. But the Saints, really, really good. Drew Brees is obviously brilliant. Titans take care of the Panthers. Cam Newton comes back down to earth, makes a bunch of mistakes in this game. I think Cam Newton, and nobody wants to talk about this, but I think Cam Newton early in the year, him playing so well, might have been a result of we just didn't have enough film on him. And defenses, obviously because of the lockout, were not playing as well because everybody was throwing for over 400 yards the first few weeks. And obviously that has come down. So how good will Cam Newton be in reality? I have no idea. I feel like that first month may have been smoke and mirrors, and this might be the real Cam Newton. You don't know. But we will see. He's definitely a good player, and Titans beating up on a bad team. Again, I don't care how many games they win. The Titans are awful. Steelers beat the Cincinnati Bengals 24-17. Bengals played well. I mean, you have to give them their credit. They do a lot of things well, and they did it against a real team. Andy Dalton made a couple mistakes at the end, and that's why they're not going anywhere this year. I mean, that is why the Bengals aren't going anywhere. They're going to be 6-3. They play the Ravens. They're going to be 6-4. I mean, they are not going to win a lot of games. They're probably going to end up with 8 or 9 wins, but they do have a nice little foundation. Are they legitimate AFC contenders? Absolutely not. It's the Bengals. And that's where people kind of have been putting them the last few weeks. Oh, the Bengals are one of the top teams in the AFC. No, they're not. They're 6-2, yeah. Played the easiest schedule in the league. They're going to come back down to earth now. You've got just lost to Pittsburgh. You're going to lose to Baltimore next week. So I don't think the Bengals are going anywhere this year. I still think they're not going anywhere. Are they a little better than I've been giving them credit for? Yeah, probably. But so they had a nice showing against Pittsburgh, but are they the real deal as far as winning the AFC or winning a playoff game even? Absolutely not. The Browns and the Rams played a god-awful football game that the Rams won 13-12. Moving on, the Dallas Cowboys blow away the Buffalo Bills 44-7. The Bills, who I thought they still look like the real deal to me, but they might only be a 9 or 10 win team and struggle to make the playoffs. But the Cowboys, I knew they'd come out of it eventually. I did. I knew the Cowboys would come out of it eventually. All you have to do is minimize the mistakes, and they were going to be a good team. I think the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs. I don't know if they're going to win the division. That might be their only option. The Giants might come back down to Little Earth even a little bit, even though I think they are also one of the best teams in the NFC this year. But the Cowboys have a lot of potential, and I think they are going to get hot. I think the Cowboys are going to get hot here, and they could win out. In theory, I have to look at their schedule, but they could win out. Jaguars beat the Indianapolis Colts. Jaguars are a mess. The Colts are they're a laughingstock. I mean, if they don't start to play better, and I'm not talking about winning games. I don't care if they go 0-16. If they don't start to play better at some point, with a little bit of motivation and a little bit of want to, everyone is gone. I mean, they will fire the coach. They will get rid of Polian. I mean, they'll get rid of everybody. I mean, this is literally Jim Caldwell. This is literally a situation no one can survive. When you are losing like this, the Jaguars didn't even play well, and they beat you easily. I mean, when you play like that, it's not going to work. And this is something that could end Bill Polian's career, really. Tebow and the Broncos beat the Kansas City Chiefs 17-10. Tebow was 2 for 8. Listen, he has beaten the Dolphins, the Chiefs, and the Raiders. The Dolphins, the Chiefs, and the Raiders. That's it. Let's not get excited. I mean, the one good team he's beaten is the Raiders. The Raiders are pretty good, but that was in a game where Carson Palmer was pretty much like 4 days off the couch. So let's not overreact to Tebow. 2 for 8. That's the bottom line. Okay? People talk about how statistics don't matter. Or just wins and losses. That's a load of crap. Statistics show you what the player is going to play like on average throughout his career. And statistics turn into victories. If you're doing what it takes to win, that means you are applying or creating better statistics than the other team. You are going to have success statistically and win games. That's how it works. It's funny. You look at the league, the team with the better statistics usually wins the football game. That's just kind of how it is. I mean, it's kind of fluky, but then when something happens where the one quarterback throws for 300 yards and then the other team wins, it's like, see, every given Sunday, stats don't matter. No, look at the games. On average, the teams with the better statistics win the games. Stats truly do matter. The numbers truly do matter because better statistics compile up and you end up winning games that way. Tebow's 2 for 8. They've beaten terrible teams. Detroit blew them out 45-10. I mean, he will get killed against better teams. San Diego will pick them apart. The Broncos aren't any good, and Tebow's a mess. You look at him, he's a mess. He made one nice throw yesterday. You know what? I could go into an NFL game and make one nice throw. But I'm not a quarterback. He's not a quarterback. He's a running back. Tim Tebow's a running back. That's all he is. He's a running back, and they run the Wildcat permanently. They're running like the Veer Wishbone right now. It's crazy. It's asinine. I mean, this is a joke. But they're winning, and but I don't care. I don't care that they win games. It's like the Titans. I don't care how many games they win. It doesn't matter. Most of this league is junk. And all the reason bad teams win games is they're playing other bad teams, and they all beat the crap out of each other. It's only when the elite teams that play the elite teams, that's when the games matter. Because the elite teams get into the playoffs and ultimately win the Super Bowl. That's what really counts. These bad teams beating up on other bad teams, so maybe by mistake you get 7, 8, 9 wins. It doesn't matter. You played bad teams all year. So of course you are a bad team. Tennessee might go 8-8. I don't care. They're awful. They're 4-12 quality squad. But they're playing a lot of bad teams, so they're going to compile up some wins. It happens. This league is based on beating up on bad teams, getting into the playoffs, and then seeing what happens. Better quarterback, better defense. That's what gets you to through the playoffs and into the Super Bowl. And Tim Tebow isn't capable of being one of those elite quarterbacks. He's just not, period. I don't care how many times he beats Kansas City and Miami. It doesn't matter. The Dolphins beat the Redskins, Rex Grossman, John Beck. Throw anybody in there. It doesn't matter. Dolphins won the football game. Oh, well. Cardinals beat the Eagles. Let's say it. Let's say it right now. The Eagles suck. The Eagles are terrible. Offense, defense, special teams. They are a mess. Mike Vick is not a franchise quarterback. The defense is awful. Andy Reid will be fired at the end of this season. That's just how it's going to go. The Cardinals are a mess, too. A couple of bad teams. I didn't expect much. And at the end of the day, the Eagles suck. The Eagles suck. That's all you can say at this point. Houston beats Tampa 37-9. To me, Houston is really, really good because, you see, they're beating bad teams too. They're just beating up on bad teams as well. But when they played Pittsburgh, they played really, really well. They played New Orleans extremely tough. They have done things in big games against elite teams this year that lead me to believe that they are also an elite team. And they are playing the game at a wickedly high level. Matt Schaub is hurt. That will set them back. The Texans, there are things to worry about in the next couple weeks involving injury. Can they sustain? Can Matt Leinart do it for one game? I tend to think that answer is no. Seattle beats Baltimore as I suspected, 22-17. I told you it was going to be close. Going to Seattle, Baltimore has struggled on the road this season. Baltimore, they better win the division. The Ravens better win that division because they can't go on the road and win games this year. They can't do it. They are not good enough. They don't have it mentally. I don't know what it is. The Ravens, who would think a Ravens team wouldn't have mental toughness? This one does not. Tough road games, they struggle in. Bears win 37-13. The Bears look good. I told you they would be around all year. They are more than around. They are in the playoffs right now. The Detroit Lions have a bit of a setback, and they don't look to be quite as good as everybody thought. I still think they're going to win 9 or 10 games and get into the playoffs. But Lions are a good football team, and they just didn't have it. Made a lot of mistakes. At the end of the day, you look at the Lions, and yes, they do a lot of things well, and that bodes well for their future. Right now, the words I would use to describe the Detroit Lions most pointedly would be immature and hot-headed. And those are two things that will get you killed as a football team. The Lions need to grow up. They need to grow up, and they need to grow up fast if they want to make the playoffs and win games now. I believe that will come as a result of being together longer, and Jim Schwartz needs to calm down too. And I feel like they will figure it out eventually. They're a year or two away from being a serious Super Bowl contender. It's just not right now, and that's okay. They're still okay. They are still okay right now. Giants and Niners playing a classic. Niners win 27-20. Listen, Alex Smith, for all his faults and everything he did wrong, came out and threw the football and did it effectively because Jim Harbaugh put him in situations to be successful. Harbaugh, he's figuring Alex Smith out. He's managing him very well, and Alex Smith is not making the big mistake. I'm still waiting for it. I'm waiting. Eventually, he is going to throw that pick in big situations. Eventually, he's going to implode. Because you're going to be in a playoff game against Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers, and you're going to be down 3 touchdowns, and all of a sudden you have to start making throws, and you just can't do it. The hope is that Niners defense is good enough where you keep everything kind of low scoring, where the Niners can play their kind of football down the stretch like they made Eli Manning do, and you'll be put in a position where you can be successful. Keep Alex Smith in situations he can manage, and the Niners can go really, really far. Are they the favorites in the NFC? I don't think so. I think the favorites in the NFC right now, I'd still look at either the Giants or the Packers. A lot of people say the Packers, that defense is awful, and they terrify me. But the Niners, Alex Smith still worries me. But he played better last week, and that leads me to believe maybe he will continue to play better in the future. He threw the ball a little more than he usually does. And, the Giants did about as much as they could, but the Niners played with so much emotion that they they were kind of out of luck. Last but not least, the New York Jets lost to the New England Patriots 37-16. Tom Brady was very, very good in this game. Listen, the Patriots were going to come out of the funk eventually. I think the problems they had against Pittsburgh and the Giants are problems that they still have. bad defense, and if you are able to stop that offense because they simply do not have the athletes on the outside to win in man-to-man coverage. That is the bottom line with the New England Patriots. Their pass rush is still not there. Those are two problems that championship teams do not have. You look at Green Bay last year. They won the Super Bowl with an elite pass rush, and they had unbelievable skill people on the outside. The Patriots don't have the athletes. That's the bottom line. Brady might be able to manufacture something, but he needs better athletes on the outside. Gronkowski is not an elite athlete. Neither is, who's the other one? It's Gronkowski. I can't remember the second one. Hernandez. Thank you. You've got Gronkowski and you've got Hernandez. Those are their two tight ends. They're not elite athletes. They're just big and they can catch. That's a tight end. But the Patriots don't have it on the outside. The pass rush isn't there. They can beat up on the Jets because Mark Sanchez sucks. Period. Sanchez can't play. He's not very good. I've been saying this for weeks. Sanchez not very good. I'm down on him. I'm starting to get even further down on him. And we'll see how he plays throughout the rest of the season. But Sanchez, 2-3 years from now, is going to be out of New York. That's how bad he's playing. But you can't give up on your investment because you traded up in the draft to get him. I understand that, but the Patriots exposed the Jets, but I think the Patriots' problems are still there, and against better teams, they will show again. Pittsburgh or Baltimore will be able to beat them in a playoff game, unless Brady goes crazy and throws for 500 yards. Then, of course, all that is out the window. Either your quarterback gets hot or your defense plays well. Most championship teams have both. If Belichick can figure it out, that just credit to Belichick's brilliance. That's the bottom line. And it could happen. Belichick's done it before, right? That 10-6 team. Oh, they're not very good. Oh, well. Went way over 15 minutes. And I apologize. We'll do better next week. It's the BWC Network.